I just want to make one correction. I'm no longer a teacher, thanks to Dr. Deasy. And what happened in my classroom that I was subbing for in September of 2011. I believe all of you have seen this before, but I want to read it out loud, and hopefully you'll get an idea of what happened that day. And these things to me are really, truly what people do. I mean, that's who these people are. If we're talking about Dr. Deasy, that's fine. That's truly who he is when you are doing things in a classroom, that one little spot, not when you're doing it with the cameras and all of these things. But anyway, let me go ahead. I was in the classroom at approximately 11:05, which was the last 10 minutes of class. A man entered my classroom, obviously observing the students. Based on his overall appearance, I assumed he was an LAUSD official. However, he did not introduce himself, nor did he acknowledge me in any way. He had no badges on or anything like that. Okay. Therefore, I greeted him, "Good morning." While he did not return the greeting, he did at that point approach my desk where I was working. He asked what class this was. I informed him that this was the honors senior composition class. I introduced myself as Patrena Shankling, the substitute teacher for the class, and asked who he was because he hadn't volunteered that information. He said he was a superintendent of schools. He never gave me his actual name, just his position. He then asked, what are the students doing right now? I explained to him that the students were setting up their composition books. This was like the second day of class, the second day of school, by the way. Setting up their books that they'd be using for the remainder of the school year. So we were trying to get things in line for the school year. He asked, why are they writing something that they can read for themselves? Okay. Before I could respond to his question, he began what amounted to a tirade of statements, including that the assignment was a total waste of instructional time. He said that the assignment was disrespectful to our students, and that I should have been ashamed to have given such an assignment to our students. He was extremely agitated, and I felt it very important not to escalate the situation. We were in a classroom full of students, and he's at the front of the class doing this.
I'm real sorry. Your time's up. We're trying to stick to it.
Ms. Shankling's information was actually...
Can she give the end of this story, please, sir? Because everybody else has talked over 3 minutes.
Unless I have a motion, I'm going to end the speaker. So if I have a motion and there's a majority...
I'll make a motion. I want to hear the story.
Okay, is there a second?
I second.
Okay. All opposed? That's the easiest way. Okay.
Thank you very much. And I'll give it to you in writing as well. Let's see.
You've had 20 people speaking for. We ought to just listen to this lady.
Okay. Okay, it was a waste of the instructional time. I should be ashamed to have given such an assignment to these students. He was extremely agitated, and I felt it was very important to de-escalate the situation. It seemed like everything I said was escalating the situation. And this was in front of the students. In addition, I was really trying to understand how or why this was even happening. I mean, it made no sense at all. I began to explain after he stopped talking for a second. So I began to explain that the students bring their composition books to class every day. They're seniors. They don't have they have a, disposable book, okay? So the composition book is required to be maintained and brought to class daily. I then reminded him that I am a substitute teacher because he was just going on. It was ridiculous. I then reminded him that I was a substitute teacher and that I'm following the actual teacher's instructions. He abruptly interrupted, scolding me even louder than he had before, stating that it did not matter that I was a substitute teacher, nor that the teacher had left this assignment. He resumed the tirade, restating that this was a total waste of instructional time, that I was disrespecting students, that the students must be respected, and I should be ashamed of the teacher who gave me, as a teacher, to give them such an assignment to seniors. That was repeated, okay? At some point he asked, why aren't the students doing actual work? He immediately followed the question with the statement that we had wasted 2 days of instructions. This was the second day of class. At this point, I realized that explaining the purpose of the assignment again was not going to get through to him, and that any further attempt to de-escalate the situation would be futile. However, I could not allow him to continue, nor could I continue in front of the class in this manner. I interrupted him and explained that this was the second day of school and that these procedures were set in place so that the stage would be set for the remainder of the year. In addition, I added at this point, he was actually being very disrespectful and disruptive, not only to me, but to the students as well. I then requested that he leave the classroom. He said, "No, you're the one that will be leaving." I replied that that was not a problem. I picked up my keys and stood up and turned to get my purse and bag. As I turned back, I realized that he had began walking out the door, and he continued to make comments. As he left, he continued to make derogatory statements that the level of instruction or something, or about the level of instruction or something to that effect. My suggestion to him as he left the room was that he begin to enhance the level of instruction with a lesson on respecting each other as well as the students. After this, I apologized to the class and explained that the issue of respect is a lesson that we may have to learn, teach, or be tested on every day. Today was my day to teach, and hopefully, after reflecting on what had just occurred, his day to learn.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Are there any other labor partners here? I want to offer that same thing that would like to speak as a representative. No, as a representative of the union. We've had speakers, and I'm sorry, we're going to conclude that. We need to sit down and dialogue.
This board meeting is recessed until the closed session discussion is over. It is 1:33 p.m. Thank you.